Senator Patty Murray didn't just attend a routine oversight hearing, she dropped a political grenade that should stop every American in their tracks. What she uncovered about the FBI under Director Kash Patel is nothing short of shocking. The Bureau, America's top law enforcement agency, is operating without a legally required budget plan. No numbers, no strategy, no timeline. At the very same moment, more than 1,900 FBI employees are already gone. Agents, cyber experts, linguists, scientists, the very people we rely on to track terrorists, fight gangs, stop fentanyl, protect children, and keep our democracy safe. Think about that. The FBI, the agency tasked with defending against domestic and foreign threats, is flying blind.
We have not yet seen it. That is really absurd. The FBI is our nation's leading law enforcement agency, a budget of $10.7 billion. It is critical that we understand how you are spending taxpayer dollars. So, Director Patel, when should we expect this FY25 spend plan for the FBI? Have you seen it? Have you reviewed it? When will we get it?
I'll get you an answer, ma'am. I don't have a timeline on that.
It was due last week by law.
I understand.
And your answer is you just understand. You're not going to follow the law?
My answer is that I am following the law, and I'm working with my interagency partners to do this and get you the budget that you are required to have.
And you have no timeline?
No.
Well, we also need a full budget request, not a single paragraph full of wild talking points that we saw with the skinny budget proposal. We're now having a budget hearing without a budget request. So, Director Patel, where is the FY 2026 budget request for the FBI?
It's being worked on, ma'am.
Have you reviewed it? Have you approved it?
Not yet.
When will we get it?
As soon as I can get it from my interagency partners and get it approved.
6 months from now?
I don't know, ma'am. I'm not going to make up a timeline.
Well, how do we as Congress do our budget and our work without that request and without the spend plan?
Well, ma'am, I'm here. I'm doing the
care.
best I can. I can't make up answers. I'm going to commit to you to work on getting you the information you need.
That is insufficient and deeply disturbing. No response?
I've given my response.
Well, the FBI is already down 1,900 employees since 2023 as a direct result of the Fiscal Responsibility Act. And under the Trump administration, FBI agents, analysts, linguists, cyber experts, and scientists are being asked to do a lot more in order to keep us safe. Director Patel, we all know that budget cuts will reduce the FBI's ability to counter threats of terrorism, and it will hinder its ability to keep pace with firearm background checks and shutter operations that combat violent crime, drugs, gangs, and transnational organized crime. Now, I understand that you told our House colleagues yesterday that you don't want to reduce the FBI workforce, meaning that you disagree with what President Trump is proposing?
No, I agree that we can sustain the mission with the proposed budget, and I agree with the budget. And as I said yesterday, I believe that what I said was I can do more with more. And I gave examples of what more we could do if we were given more.
Well, it's different than what you told the House yesterday. So what are you communicating to the President and the White House about what you need? And again, we don't have a budget request from you, so I'm not sure what you're asking us for.
I'm not asking you for anything at this time.
You can operate without a budget?
I never said that.
Well, this is unprecedented. Okay, well, let me just go to another topic since you're not going to answer that. The FBI partners with state, local, and tribal law enforcement organizations. They provide critical intelligence and operational capabilities to combat violent crime and gangs and terrorist threats, fentanyl trafficking, challenges that our local communities really can't face alone. I'm going to give you an example. A few years ago, the Southeast Washington Safe Streets FBI Task Force worked with our Benton County and Franklin County Sheriff's Office, multiple Tri-Cities police departments, and the State Corrections Department to carry out one of the largest ever drug seizures in the region's history. Now we've got an administration already cutting more than $800 million in assistance in 2025 to local law enforcement organizations while proposing a $500 million cut for the FBI. Director Patel, can you explain to this committee how cutting resources for our local law enforcement partner agencies the FBI relies on to help your bureau keep safe. How do you expect the FBI and local law enforcement to do more without those significant resources they need?
The FBI will continue to do what it does, which is work with embedded state and local law enforcement officers in our Joint Terrorism Task Force, in our Safe Streets Task Force, in our gang task forces. Those are a priority. Those billets have been maintained. Those billets have not been reduced. And with my reorientation, reprogramming that we've notified Congress to, you will see an augmentation in the field in every single state in this country.
Well, again, we need to see the numbers and we need to see that budget from you. Let me ask you about the NICS system. The FBI is really on the front lines of keeping guns out of the hands of very dangerous criminals. The NICS serves a really critical role in enhancing national security and public safety by conducting background checks. You know this. They are supported by the vast majority of American people, and I wanted to ask you this morning, will you commit to continuing to fund and run the FBI background check system?
Yes.
Thank you. I want to ask one final question here, Mr. Chairman. I want to talk again about how the FBI is focusing its resources. President Trump has turned the Department of Justice into a tool to go after his perceived enemies, and many of the actions we have now seen at the FBI are alarming. The FBI has reassigned and pushed out career FBI agents for political reasons. We have seen.
And when Murray pressed Patel for answers, he offered none. No dates, no drafts, not even a vague commitment, just excuses and silence. That's not oversight, that's sabotage hiding in plain sight. This wasn't some boring budget meeting, it was a red siren flashing across the country. Because when the FBI loses its staff, its independence, and its transparency, we don't just lose accountability, we lose safety itself. And Murray's explosive confrontation made that crystal clear. The first bomb Murray dropped was simple but devastating. The FBI has no budget, not a draft, not a timeline, not even the bare minimum required by law. By statute, the FBI was supposed to submit its FY 2025 spend plan over a week ago. Congress still hasn't seen it. That's not just a missed deadline, that's breaking the law. And when Murray pressed Director Patel for answers, his response was a shrug. I don't have a timeline. Imagine that. The man charged with protecting the country can't tell lawmakers when or if his agency will even explain how it plans to use taxpayer dollars. But it wasn't just about 2025. Murray pushed for the FBI's 2026 budget request too, the long-term blueprint of how the Bureau will function. Patel admitted he hasn't reviewed it, hasn't approved it, and couldn't say when it might appear. That's not leadership, that's deliberate stonewalling. Without a budget, Congress can't fund operations, local partners can't plan joint missions, and the American people are left in the dark. Murray's point was clear: this isn't incompetence, this is obstruction. But the missing budget was just the beginning of a much deeper crisis. If the missing budget was shocking, the workforce numbers are even worse. Since 2023, the FBI has lost more than 1,900 employees. That's not just a statistic, it's the backbone of America's national security being ripped out piece by piece. Every one of those lost jobs represents fewer agents on the ground, fewer cyber experts stopping foreign hackers, fewer linguists decoding threats in real time, fewer analysts tracking violent extremists before they strike. It means delays in investigations, gaps in intelligence, and criminals who slip through the cracks because the Bureau simply doesn't have the manpower to keep up. Senator Murray made the consequences crystal clear. These cuts directly weaken America's ability to stop terrorism, combat gangs, intercept fentanyl, and enforce gun background checks. And yet Patel brushed it off. He claimed the FBI can sustain the mission with fewer people and less money. But anyone paying attention knows that's impossible. You can't ask fewer agents to do more with less while threats multiply every single day. This wasn't just a budgetary oversight, it was a direct hit on the FBI's ability to keep Americans safe. And the cuts don't stop with the Bureau itself. The FBI doesn't work alone. Its strength has always come from its partnerships with state, local, and tribal law enforcement. Those joint task forces are the backbone of America's fight against gangs, cartels, and terrorism. But under the new budget cuts, even those lifelines are being slashed. More than $800 million in assistance for local law enforcement is on the chopping block, with another $500 million pulled from the FBI's own operations. Senator Murray reminded Patel of what's at stake. She pointed to a real example: the Safe Streets Task Force in Washington state. That joint operation, federal agents working side by side with county sheriffs and local police, produced one of the largest drug seizures in regional history. Without FBI resources and funding, operations like that simply collapse. Local police departments can't tackle transnational drug networks or terrorist cells on their own. Yet Patel offered only vague reassurances, insisting that billets haven't been reduced. But without funding, priority means nothing. The reality is clear: starving these partnerships doesn't just weaken the FBI, it leaves every small town and city across America exposed. And while resources vanish on the ground, something even darker is happening inside the Bureau itself. Budget cuts are dangerous, but Senator Murray exposed something even more alarming: the FBI under Patel is being bent into a political weapon. Reports claim that career agents have been reassigned, sidelined, or forced out, not because they failed their mission, but because their work collided with political interests. Investigators tied to January 6 placed on leave. Analysts who examined Russian election interference pushed out. These weren't rookies, they were national security veterans with years of experience, suddenly treated as disposable. Murray pressed Patel directly: wasn't this retribution? Wasn't this politicization? Patel pushed back, claiming that anyone reassigned had violated ethics rules. But notice what he didn't do: he never gave a straight answer. Instead, he rattled off arrest numbers and drug seizures as if statistics could mask the hollowing out of independent law enforcement. This is how institutions get quietly compromised. Not with a single dramatic purge, but with targeted pressure that drives out watchdogs and rewards loyalists. Murray's questioning revealed the pattern: the FBI isn't just losing staff, it's losing independence. And when an agency sworn to protect the Constitution starts serving political power instead, every American should be alarmed. And the timing of all this makes it even more dangerous. All of this, the budget chaos, the staff exodus, the politicization, would be bad enough in any year, but it's happening in an election year, and that makes it catastrophic. The FBI isn't just another government agency, it's the frontline defense against election interference, extremist threats, and foreign cyber attacks. Weakening it now is like pulling firefighters off duty in the middle of a wildfire. Senator Murray spelled it out: when election security should be a top priority, the Bureau is being hollowed out. Career investigators who monitored disinformation networks, gone. Resources for cyber defense and counterterrorism, slashed. At the exact moment extremist groups are mobilizing online and foreign adversaries are probing our systems, the FBI is being told to do more with less. That's not strategy, that's sabotage. And let's be clear, this isn't just about politics in Washington. When the FBI can't track threats, it's your community, your schools, your polling places that are left vulnerable. The consequences of these cuts won't be felt in distant offices, they'll be felt in the lives of ordinary Americans. But Murray didn't just expose the danger, she revealed the bigger strategy driving it all. Senator Murray's questions pointed to something bigger than budget cuts or missing paperwork. What she exposed looked like a deliberate playbook, a strategy to weaken independent institutions from the inside. First you defund them, then you sideline the people who resist. You bury oversight requests, delay accountability, and quietly replace watchdogs with loyalists. The FBI under Patel checks every box. This isn't about trimming waste or streamlining operations, it's about hollowing out the Bureau's core functions while keeping up the illusion of business as usual. The numbers prove it: nearly 2,000 staff gone, hundreds of millions cut from local partnerships, and top investigators pushed aside. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. Murray connected the dots. The chaos at the FBI isn't random, it's political. And the timing, right before a high-stakes election, makes it even more dangerous. Weakening law enforcement oversight and shielding leadership from accountability doesn't protect Americans, it protects those in power. And that's the true danger. Because once institutions like the FBI are stripped of independence, it's not just the agency that suffers, it's democracy itself. Which leads to the urgent question Murray left hanging in that hearing: Senator Patty Murray's confrontation wasn't just about missing spreadsheets or sloppy leadership, it was about the survival of independent law enforcement in America. Think about what we've just learned. The FBI has no budget plan, even though the law requires one. Nearly 1,900 employees are gone, weakening every arm of national security. Local partnerships that once took down cartels and violent gangs are being starved of funding. And career agents investigating January 6th or Russian interference are being silenced or pushed aside. That's not coincidence, it's a pattern. When you connect those dots, a disturbing picture emerges. This isn't about saving money or efficiency, it's about control. Defund the FBI, politicize its leadership, and erode its independence, right as the nation heads into one of the most volatile elections in modern history. That's not just mismanagement, that's sabotage. Murray's warning couldn't be clearer. If Congress can't get straight answers from the FBI director, then the American people need to demand them, because when oversight collapses, accountability vanishes, and with it our safety. So don't look away, share this story, speak up. Because democracy doesn't die in silence, it dies when we stop paying attention.